So it is 12:02, so I think that we will go ahead and get started. Oh, good afternoon. Someone else just joined. And yes, as people come in, they are more than welcome to join us where we are at. So just a brief hello and welcome from me. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Kay Mello, Director of Community Impact at United Way of Greater Waterbury. And I am also a yoga teacher as well as certified in meditation and mindfulness. So I'm delighted to be able to wear both hats today and bring a presentation on self-care and mindfulness to many of our providers, our staff from United Way, and others. So everyone is welcome for this next 45 to 60 minutes together. And hopefully everyone can see the screen okay. So we are just going excellent, got a thumbs up there. So we are going to get started and we are going to, why isn't that moving? There we are. We're going to do a mindful check-in to begin. And let me preface this time together with, there is certainly here no pressure for anyone at all to share anything. If you prefer to do this practice for the next hour mindfully to yourself and keep these things sort of to yourself, that is wonderful. If you would like to share in our chat as we go along, you're welcome to do that as well. So anything here works, and the best thing is what works for you. So again, with the opening mindful check-in, it's really just sort of a check-in, like how am I feeling right now on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the most stressed. Welcome, Susan. And 1 being the least stressed. Welcome, Barbara. So we're doing a mindful check-in to begin our journey together for this next 45 to 60 minutes. And just sort of checking in with ourselves, right? How stressed am I now? In this moment, in this past today, yesterday, this week, this month, this year, this winter. So just kind of doing a self-check. And let's see, I'm going to open up the chat here and just see if, okay, we have any. Excellent. Sue says she has a first bingo event tonight that I am preparing for. So yes, that can add a little stress, right? When we have our work events and we know we want to be at our best and we want everything to go perfectly, that can add a little stress. A week of snow days has set me back. Yes, that feeling, right, of feeling behind. I think many of us can relate to that, especially, right, when we set up those expectations, right? I'm going to be here at a certain time in a certain place, and it doesn't happen because something else like snow gets in our way. That can create a little stress. Logan says, I'm in the middle of the road. I'm a 5. Okay. Yep, okay. 5 is okay. And anything really is okay. Wherever you are is okay, right? It's just acknowledging, where am I right here and right now? Oh, and somebody else, excuse me, I missed that, said 5, and we have a 7 down a staff member, and lots of grants do. Well, I can totally relate to that because I'm a grant writer, and this is the busy grant writing season. So I completely get it. I find myself breathing through each and every one of those grant applications, right? And yeah, so I'm really, and again, kudos to all of you for taking time away from your busy schedules. I know everyone has a lot on their plate, and to take some time away to really do this self-check-in and learn a little bit more today about mindfulness and self-care. So congrats to you all for showing up for yourselves. So next we're going to talk about our agenda for today. So we're going to begin with a little intention setting and a box breathing exercise. And I'll also say, for those that just joined maybe a few minutes after we started, that what I had said in the beginning was everything here is simply an offering. And if you want to just participate by listening, that's fine too. If you want to participate by participating in the exercise, that's wonderful, but it's always your choice. And that's the best thing about mindfulness and self-care, is that it is our choice. It's a practice, but it's our choice to do what's right for us in every moment. So we will start. I'll offer a box breathing exercise, and then we're going to dive in a little bit, not too deep, but really just to set the stage a little bit about, understanding stress, trauma, compassion, fatigue, and burnout, and how we recognize that in ourselves. Then we'll move into some mindfulness practices that we can use in the moment to help ourselves in those times of stress. And then we're going to talk a little bit about how mindfulness meets self-care. And then I'll offer an exercise in creating your own self-care plan. And then I've got some resources to close us out, and then we'll leave a little time for Q&A. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and do a box breathing exercise. Feel free if you'd rather have your cameras off. This is not going to be very long. What box breathing really is it's a breath tool that we use to help self-regulate us, when we are stressed. When we're just feeling like we're out of sorts, it's a tool that we can come back to, one of the many tools that we'll learn today, that will help us in the moment to just say, okay, let me just take a breath. And really what box breathing is it's 4 breaths in, hold the breath to the count of 4, exhale to the count of 4, and hold for the count of 4. And we'll just do a few rounds of that. And then we're going to set an intention. And again, it's just an offering. So this is sort of like if anything comes up that you'd like to set an intention for yourself for the next 50 minutes on this call, feel free to do so, and I'll guide you through that. So with any of these sort of breath meditative sort of exercises, we usually, call out if you'd like to close your eyes, if you'd like to have your eyes have a nice soft gaze. But if anybody is not feeling like that's comfortable for them, I'm going to bring up a beautiful stained glass flower of life that you can feel free to keep your eyes open and look at this colorful object here on the screen. Or if there's anything else in the room that you are in that you would like to use as your focal point, feel free to do that as well. So please, again, knowing that whatever is right for you in the moment is honoring ourselves in the practice. So with that being said, if you'd like to join me now, we're going to either close our eyes or allow our eyes to have a nice soft gaze, or look at the beautiful stained glass flower of life while we practice our box breathing exercise. So basically, we're just going to begin to inhale to the count of 4, hold to the count of 4, exhale to the count of 4, and hold. So if you'd like to start joining me now, inhaling 2, 3, 4, hold 2, 3, 4, exhale 2, 3, 4, and hold 2, 3, 4. Inhale 2, 3, 4, hold 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4, and hold 2, 3, 4. Inhale 2, 3, 4, hold 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4, and hold 2, 3, 4. And now, if you'd like, you can continue the box breathing or just returning to the normal breath. And as you return, maybe just quietly setting an intention to yourself for the next 40 minutes or so, 45 minutes. If there's something you would like to just practice here, maybe it's practicing being open to a new idea or a new concept. Or maybe just allowing yourself to be and just learn and listen without any other distractions. Maybe it's setting aside your cell phone, not looking at your calendar, your email, giving yourself this time for self-care and rest. And now beginning to open up the eyes once again, returning to the screen. And that's a little bit of the box breathing technique, which we'll talk about again later as we explore more mindfulness tools together. And you'll also see that picture again. Oops, I went ahead a little bit. Oops, sorry. Jumped ahead on me. Okay, so why is this? All right, I am not going in order and I don't know what happened. So I'm going to stop sharing for a moment so I can just get my screen back to where we were. Okay, here we go. All right. Okay. Reshare here. Okay. So just jumping into stress and trauma and compassion fatigue. We could spend a lot of time on all these topics, right? But I thought it was really important to highlight today a little bit about, the human experience and what can really um, be stressful for us, right? What can come up and what can be situations that we find ourselves in that really take a toll on us, and why we want to practice more mindfulness and self-care and add that in. So stress, right? Many of us, if not all, have experienced stress. Stress is defined as a state of worry or mental tension caused by difficult situations. It's a natural human response. And I think that's really important to remember, is that every human has these responses. And it can be a response that prompts us to address challenges and threats in our lives. And stress can be described as a physical, mental, or emotional strain experienced when demands exceed available resources, right? That sounds familiar, right? Especially if we're at work or home, or, if things are coming up and we're feeling like our demands are exceeding what we're able to meet it at. And additionally, it's a biological response to perceived threats, involving chemicals and hormones that prepare the body to respond to challenges, right? Stress actually can be a protector. I know it might sound a little strange, but when we're starting to feel that stress, we're actually protecting ourselves against a lot out there. So just to be beginning to be aware of that. And again, that it has its toll on our body physically, and our body can respond to that stress in a negative way. But again, overall, stress is a common experience that everyone experiences at some point. Trauma, a deeply disturbing or distressing experience. It can be a one-time event. It can be something that maybe has happened over time. It's the emotional shock following that stressful event, or a physical injury of some kind. There are big traumas and little traumas, and it's very personal, right? So what could be a small trauma or big trauma to me might be a small trauma to someone else. So just knowing that if you have had traumas or traumas come up in your life, that it's very personal to you, and that having that awareness about that trauma is really the key in terms of meeting it with that self-care and mindfulness. And trauma, when we're in trauma, we respond when we're not aware, right? We can respond in that fight, flight, fight, freeze, or fawn responses. That flight, right? I just want to escape, run, go somewhere else. This is just too much for me to handle right now. I'm being triggered, maybe with some traumas that have happened in my past. I'm currently being triggered by that. Fight. Sometimes, we get angry, we want to fight back, we want to blame, we want to, react. Freeze. Maybe we just don't do anything and we freeze, and we don't want to engage, and we don't want to help that situation to improve because we're just freezing in the moment. And fawn is that people pleaser. That's the latest and greatest added to the trauma responses, because sometimes when we people please, we're actually also trying to deflect, right, what we're really trying to address, which could be trauma related. Compassion fatigue. So this is a big one, and I believe we have many, providers on the call today, but anyone, right, can really be experiencing compassion fatigue. And it's when we have that state of emotional and physical exhaustion experienced by us due to a prolonged exposure to the trauma and suffering of our clients or others, right? So if someone else in our life, someone we're trying to help through our work, or even a family member or friend is experiencing a lot of trauma, and we're sort of experiencing that along with them, we can also bring this compassion fatigue to ourselves, right? It's just another way of our body taking on too much. So having some of the awareness, which the mindfulness and self-care tools will help us to do, having that awareness in the moment, like an example would be, if you're serving a client through your work and they're experiencing a lot of trauma, implementing those mindfulness tools for yourself and self-care tools can help you to not take on the other person's trauma as your own, right? And helping to separate that a little bit, and helping to understand that that's something that they're going through. We want to help. We want to show them compassion, and we will, but also having that sort of boundary, right? And knowing what's theirs and what's ours. And not overwhelming ourselves too much. It also goes back to that putting that oxygen mask on first, right? When we put on the oxygen mask first and we're meeting our own self-care and having our own boundaries, taking care of ourselves, we can actually help others more. And then lastly, we've got the burnout, right? So when all these other things have built up, the stress, the compassion fatigue, not addressing our own personal traumas, and understanding them, we can get to a point of burnout, right? Which is characterized by the emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion, often resulting from prolonged stress, and can manifest itself in many, many ways. Exhaustion, detachment, maybe not participating in things, reduced performance, sleeping can be definitely affected by all of the above, right? Change in appetite, irritability, physical symptoms can appear, such as stomach aches, headaches, or anything else going on, right? The body is handling all of this stress, and a sense of helplessness and, depression, and all of that can also be a factor here too. So the goal is to recognize, right, where all of these come into play in our lives when they're showing up. And it's a practice, right? We practice recognizing the stress, the trauma, the burnout, compassion fatigue in ourselves, so that we can help ourselves through it with our self-care and mindfulness, and even get to the point where we're preventative about it, right? So that we're not getting to the burnout, so that we're kind of staying in that prevention mode. So just another question for the group. And again, this is can be keep this to yourself, or if you'd like to share in the chat, but no pressure. What are the biggest drains on my energy right now? So just thinking about that for yourself, or if you're willing to share, it's always great, when people can share, because I believe it helps us all feel connected, right? And all feel human. We're all experiencing many of these drains through work, family, our kids, our paying the bills, all of it, right? I see we've got some folks here typing. Immigration issues and changes. Yes. I mean, definitely what's going on in the world is definitely, affecting many of us personally. The weather, I mean, yes, it's real. The winter time being stuck in without the vitamin D of the sun, right? It's definitely a thing for sure. And I mean, it's There's many, many things that can be there. Epstein files, thank you, clients struggling and family issues, right? And just seeing everybody else's struggles is huge. And this is why I really wanted to do this today, specifically for our nonprofit providers, because of all of the work that you all do, every day, and watching people struggle through life is really, really difficult. Uh, and it can drain us. It can. But we're here today with some positive news that there are tools that we can use. So next up is moving into mindfulness. And what is mindfulness? So I have a quote here from Jon Kabat-Zinn. I do want to let you know a little bit about Jon Kabat-Zinn. He is actually credited for modernizing mindfulness here in the West. These practices, have originated in the East thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago. And any spiritual or religious practice will have some of this. So today's session is not religious or spiritual by any means. It's just simply about mindfulness and being in the moment. But I do want to highlight how Jon Kabat-Zinn brought mindfulness here to the West. And it started with his mindfulness-based stress reduction program in 1979. So that's how long, they've really been talking about this here in the United States. But it's making our way, right, into our modern culture. People are talking about being more mindful, implementing more self-care. But Jon Kabat-Zinn's, I love his quote. So his quote defines mindfulness to me in an interesting way. Mindfulness is the awareness that arises from paying attention in a particular way on purpose in the present moment and non-judgmentally. So I like how there's like a lot of different pieces here, right? There's the awareness, like mindfulness is awareness. It's also, that awareness that comes from paying attention, in a particular way, right? So we're doing something in a particular way that's helping us to be aware in the moment. And we're doing it on purpose, right? So we're purposely saying, I'm going to sit and do my breath work. I'm going to go out for a walk. I'm going to sit down now and do my crafts. I'm going to do something I enjoy. We're doing something on purpose to bring ourselves to that mindful moment. And in the present moment and non-judgmentally. So we're not judgmental with ourselves. We've turned off the self-critic. We've turned off we're working on, I should say, we're practicing turning off that mind chatter. And you're welcome for the person that said thank you for reading that in a mindful way. We're turning off that, we're practicing turning off that mind chatter, right? Could be so strong. What do I have to do? What's next? The kids, the work, the this, the that, blah, blah, blah. I'm a to-do list person myself. So sometimes I can get with the to-do list a little too much and I have to set it aside. Say, I'm just going to do my crafting right now. And I'm going to come back to this present moment awareness. It's a practice. And I'm non-judgmental about it. I'm not judging myself in that moment. So mindfulness practices, what are they? And I think you're going to like this because I've listed some here, right, that kind of jump at us as just oh yes, I've been hearing a lot about these, but also could be anything, which is what I really love. So we have our mindful breathing. We did a little bit of that earlier. We're going to do a little bit a different meditation next in a few minutes. Some meditations, right? Body scans, visualization. I just love when I put on some music and I go to I visualize myself in my most favorite beautiful place. Somewhere warm and, by a beach or something, but it works. It works for me. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 grounding our 5 senses. We're going to practice that one in a minute together. Mindful walking in nature, mindful eating. And I love this one, right? Mindful eating, we could spend a lot of time on that, but really just to highlight, maybe just eating our lunch without trying to multitask and look at our phone and our email and our grant report that's due and our deadlines, taking 10 minutes to eat that lunch and digest properly is huge. It's mindful, right? And we've also given our bodies and our minds a little rest. Journaling, or did I skip one? Mindful movement, right? Yoga, I have yoga and dancing, but anything, any mindful movement, journaling, listening to music, favorite hobbies. I'm a big crocheter, but anything you enjoy doing helps to bring you into that mindful moment. And the tool that works best for you. Because there's so many out there. And I think that's really what it is. It's about finding what works for ourselves and giving ourselves the permission to do that. Music and puzzles. Thank you for sharing. If anyone else would like to share, anything else that they enjoy doing that helps to bring them in that calm state, getting away from the hustle and bustle associated with stressors, and that's key, knowing what your stressors are. We talked a little bit about that in the beginning, right, with the trauma and the triggers, knowing what those are, and we all have them, and they're personal to us, so knowing what that is and getting away, huge. And I see some others are typing here, and as they do, I'll just add all of these mindfulness tools take us from fight or flight, that stress response, which is the sympathetic nervous system. Sympathetic nervous system stress. We're in a stress mode with our bodies because we're going and we're preventing and we're, going crazy and we're making sure all the world is great. But we're forgetting about ourselves and bringing ourselves back into that peace, that parasympathetic nervous system. That's what mindfulness tools do for us. I see Judith is still typing, but I'll get that. Oh, hiking. There we are. You had a lot to say. I love it. Hiking, reading, dancing, karaoke, listening to music, and journaling. Awesome. That's just really, really great. So again, any tool that works for you. And mindfulness practices, like I was just saying, some of the benefits, reducing the stress, slowing down the monkey mind, right? When you're doing a puzzle, when you're reading, when you're focusing on something else, it can help to slow down that monkey mind of all those crazy thoughts. I personally, right, sometimes I have a lot of fear that might creep in. So I notice for myself and I sing with a Rock Voices group, but I notice when I'm singing with the group, I'm not worried about what I was worried about earlier in the day. So it's very interesting when you're in that parasympathetic nervous system, you're also not stressed. But when you're in the stress response, sympathetic nervous system, you're also not at peace. So you're not in both at the same time, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And that's where our work comes in. That's where our practice comes in. And it's actually exciting and hopeful that we actually can bring ourselves out of the stress response system and into the peace. And we can do it. And that's what's really exciting. Driving, love it. And that's wonderful. Some people love to just go for a nice long drive and look at the sights or be in a different setting. Huge. So again, just some of the other, benefits, having the more peaceful moments, increasing our happiness and joy, and our health and well-being. Because when our body is not fighting all that stress and trauma and burnout, our body is actually able to function at a healthier level. So I thought I would offer another brief practice. So I have up for you on the screen something beautiful to look at for those that may not want to close their eyes, but closing your eyes is always an option. If you would like to look at the beautiful waterfall, I'd love to take you through a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 grounding. And this is our 5 senses. So this is another practice that you can keep at your fingertips for if you would like to, if you're feeling stressed in the moment, you just want to reground yourself. So again, we're just going to sit comfortably here and allow our eyes to either close or stay open or have a nice soft gaze, your choice. And actually, we're going to all start with our eyes closed. Because what we're going to do is 5 things that we see in the room. So looking around and maybe just finding 5 things, 5 different objects, Maybe it's 5 different colors. If you're looking at the screen, can you see 5 different shapes, colors? Next, we're going to move to 4 things that we feel. So maybe you feel the paper on your desk, a pen, maybe your cell phone there close by, the clothes that you're wearing, glasses, hair. Again, these are all grounding techniques, looking around at what you can see, what you can feel. The next is 3 things that we hear. So I'm going to be quiet for a moment so we can listen and see if you can hear anything that might be close by or far away. I'm going to move to 2 things that you smell. This can be a tough one. So if maybe you could also imagine the smell of your favorite flower or a favorite perfume or cologne or favorite dish that you like to eat. Lastly, 1 thing that you taste. If you had an opportunity to eat right before this webinar, maybe you still taste your lunch, or maybe you're getting ready to eat after, so you can think about the taste of the food that might be coming, or the taste of your favorite cup of coffee. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 practice can help us just to ground in that present moment awareness, remind us that we're here in the here and now, and that everything is okay right here in the here and now. I think somebody may have put their hand up, like Cynthia. If you want to unmute
Could you
yourself,
repeat
Cynthia.
what the number 5 was? I got everything else. I
Oh,
missed 5.
sure. It's the last one.
The first
It
one,
was
which was
the very
5.
first one was 5 things that you see. And then I'm going to be actually
Thank you.
I'll share these in cards at the end of our session as well. So in case anyone's interested, you'll have the resource for this. Welcome. So yes, now just returning back to the screen, and we're going to go ahead and move on to mindfulness meeting self-care. And I think we talked a little bit about this. What are your favorite self-care practices? And I know we talked a little bit about this already. I see Jackie has meditation tapes. I love meditation as well. I just think it's so calming and wonderful. But again, self-care is unique to all of us, right? And knowing what it is that helps us. Yin yoga. Oh, so we have some yogis on the call. Awesome. Love yin. For folks that don't know, yin is a form of yoga that is very gentle, that has longer holds. So you're holding the yoga poses and you're really able to pause with each pose, a little bit more so than you would say a flow type of yoga. But yoga is wonderful. Any movement, music, reading. My newest obsession, diamond art. I've been wanting to try one of those. Those look so cool and relaxing. Oh my gosh, I love that. Rest, yoga, walks, facial massage. Oh, you guys are so good at the self-care. This is awesome. And I love it. So yes, and so your takeaway too with going forward after this, I hope, right? When you're practicing these wonderful self-care techniques, that you're a little more aware of the mindful moment that you're finding while you're doing the things that you love. Music, puzzles, massage. We said that already. Quiet space. Wonderful. I love it all. I did want to talk a little bit about the yin and yang of self-care. So the yin and yang is a Chinese philosophy And basically, it's the principles of the yin is the feminine and the yang is the masculine. And the idea, the concept here is that we all are made up of feminine and masculine qualities, and that the goal is that we embody or embrace both sides of the yin and the yang within us, right? And so it doesn't mean this is not gender ID or anything like that. So really what it's bringing in is the yin is that softer side, that feminine side, that self-care, that self-compassion, how we speak to ourselves. Are we speaking kindly to ourselves? Are we caring for ourselves, meeting our own needs, emotional needs? Where the yang is that masculine side, which is a little firmer, right? And it's about, are we advocating for ourselves? Do we speak up for ourselves? Do we communicate what we need? Do we stay away from toxic people? Do we create boundaries around toxic people, right? Healthy boundaries. Those are all self-care. And I'm hoping you can see the difference a little bit between that feminine, softer side and then that yang, right? That how are we keeping those boundaries? How are we advocating for ourselves? Are we communicating what we need? Are we keeping those healthy boundaries that we need for self-care? And then again, we talked a little bit about this already, finding that mindful present moment awareness while we're practicing those self-care activities. We have about 20 minutes left, so perfect timing. We're just going to spend a few minutes. I'm going to offer a create your own self-care plan with mindfulness tools. So it's a sort of a self-reflection, but if you have a pen and paper and you'd like to do this journal-wise, if you just would like to sit and listen and sort of absorb, if you'd like to close your eyes and go through the meditation process with this, completely up to you. However you'd like to do it or not do it at all and just, watch us all go through it and take note for another time. It's all good. So what I'd like to do here, and this is only going to take about 5 minutes, we're going to come into a comfortable position. Again, closing our eyes. I have our lovely little stained glass flower of life in case anyone would like to look at that. But if you'd like to close your eyes, I'm going to guide everyone into that. And then we're going to sort of move through these steps of creating the self-care plan. I'm going to go back to those because, oh, of course, now it went back to the beginning, right? Oh, no, it just keeps, sorry. Oh, boy. All right, I'm going to jump back over there because I do want to go through those steps one more time because I know that, can everyone still see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, no, for myself, I like to know sort of what's coming. That's the trauma in me, right? I like to prepare, I like to know what's ahead. But I do like to be mindful to share that with people. And I know that's important to know as we move through this. So we're going to do a little bit of a body scan. So I'm just going to kind of guide you to relax the body, another form of mindfulness and self-care. Then I'm going to prompt some questions, which if you'd like to participate again, internally, or you want to journal, identifying your own core needs, and then choosing some simple supports for yourself, and then making it practical, and then anchoring and committing. So I hope you would, like to participate. But again, if you just like to listen, it is all good. So with that, we will move into, let me bring our stained glass flower of life back up on the screen. So we'll move into sitting into a comfortable position, hands just and arms resting gently on your lap. Again, if you'd like to close your eyes or you'd like to just have a nice soft gaze, or maybe you're gazing at the stained glass flower of life. And we'll just move through a relaxing body scan here. Just beginning here by noticing the breath coming in through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. And as I call out each body part, feel free to breathe in, inhale, and exhale as you move through and relax. Starting at the crown of the head, Coming down the forehead and the eyebrows and the eyes and the cheekbones and the jaw, releasing any tension here, maybe that you're holding. We tend to hold a lot of tension in that jaw area. Coming down the back of the head and the neck, and saying to yourself, entire head relaxed, entire head relaxed, entire head relaxed. Coming down the right arm, starting at the shoulder, top of the arm, the elbow, the forearm, the hands, and all the fingers. Saying to yourself, entire right arm relaxed, entire right arm relaxed, entire right arm relaxed. Coming down through the left arm, starting at the shoulder, top of the arm, the elbow, forearm, hand, and all the fingers. Saying to yourself, entire left arm relaxed, entire left arm relaxed, entire left arm relaxed. Coming down the throat space, taking a deep breath in here through the throat and exhaling through the throat space. Coming down to the heart center, inhaling through the heart center and exhaling through the heart center. Coming down through the abdomen and the torso, saying to yourself, entire torso relaxed, entire torso relaxed, entire torso relaxed. Coming down the right leg, starting at the hip, the thigh, the knee, the shin, the foot, and all the toes. Saying to yourself, entire right leg relaxed, entire right leg relaxed, entire right leg relaxed. And coming down the left leg, starting at the hip, the thigh, the knee, the shin, the foot, and all the toes. Saying to yourself, entire left leg relaxed, entire left leg relaxed, entire left leg relaxed. Now doing your own body scan. If there's anywhere you're holding tension, visualizing that place, breathing into that place, exhaling from that place, and letting go a little more. Saying to yourself, entire body relaxed, entire body relaxed, entire body relaxed. If you choose to participate, asking yourself, what is draining me the most right now? What emotion is most present? How am I feeling physically? Where is my stress level in life, at work, at home? Maybe even thinking of a time most recently that you've been very stressed out, felt the compassion fatigue, maybe even a burnout. Now beginning to ask yourself, what is one small act that would make me feel supported along with that thing that's draining me most right now? What's one small act of self-care, whether that's the yin or the yang of self-care, if it's meeting myself with compassion, some self-care tools, some mindfulness tools. Maybe it's advocating for myself, standing up for myself, creating a healthy boundary. What is it that I need in this moment to help with that stress, with that fatigue, with that burnout? What is one thing I can do to care for my body? What is one thing I could do to reach out for support? What might help me feel grounded through this stressful event? Maybe identifying just one small step in your mindfulness and self-care journey that you'd like to embody, that you'd like to practice more often. Maybe even committing to when you will do that. Maybe even saying this one self-care or mindfulness practice I'd like to add on to help reduce my stress, my compassion fatigue. Maybe I'll do more of X on X day, or one time a week, or maybe every morning. Maybe a lunchtime break and eat my lunch mindfully as opposed to multitasking. Committing to just one small act toward your own mindfulness and self-care journey in prevention of stress, fatigue, and burnout. I'll invite you now to open your eyes gently and slowly, returning to the space. And I'd just like to come back to the mindful check-in. Just see how you are feeling right now on that scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being that most stressed and 1 not being stressed at all. If you'd like to share in the chat, feel free, or again, this is just for your own personal check-in, just to see where you might be at after today's practices. Feeling more relaxed at 5, 6. Thank you, Marissa. Glad to hear it. And a couple more folks, more centered. Thank you. 3. Excellent. Really glad. I also wanted to, as people are still more at ease. Awesome. Awesome. And here's the thing, it's a practice and it doesn't even take that long. It's just our awareness and our willingness to help ourselves with more self-care and mindfulness. You are so welcome. And lastly, I do want to mention, and I'm going to open it up for a little Q&A and chat. We have 10 minutes left for anyone that would like to stay on. But before folks start to hop off, I do want to mention some additional resources that I think are important to share. You know, when we're talking about our own mental health and well-being, United Ways 211 has mental health resources for yourself, for your family, loved ones, clients, you know, everyone. And of course, if yourself or anyone else ever needs a crisis intervention, please know that all you need to do is call 211 and press option 1 for that crisis intervention. Very important to know. You can also go on to 211ct.org to find a list of resources near you. There's also many mindfulness tools that are out there besides the ones I've mentioned today briefly. There's, the apps, Calm. I love the Calm app. Headspace is another great one. And they're very, well, I wouldn't say very, but they are reasonably inexpensive. It's like an annual subscription, which is really not too terribly expensive. But there are also a lot of free things out there as well. Of course, all kinds of meditations for free on the internet, mindfulness and all of that. I'm also going to be emailing out to everyone. Ari Mata from our team created some mindfulness tool cards, that mental wellness cards that I'm going to share that have many of the practices we did today. The box breathing is there, the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 practices on one of the cards. There's a stop technique, stop, take a breath, observe, what do I need? So a lot of the tools that we practiced today, I'll be sharing with you with these cards. And lastly, I also wanted to offer, if anyone is interested in any additional mindfulness or meditation sessions similar to today, we can do some meditation together. We can talk about this again. We can dive deeper. Please let me know. Happy to do that. I love Stacy. Thank you. You're very welcome. She's aware, but she forgets to take the time, as many of us do, right? We're human, right? And we forget to take the time. And again, I really want to end this too. I want to open it up for Q&A, but I want to end this with thank yourselves for giving yourself this time today, for carving out an hour. I know you're busy, and I know, we all have so much going on between work and families and different things, that to thank yourself for giving yourself this gift of self-care today. With that, I'd love to just open it up if anybody has any questions or anyone has anything they'd like to chat about for the next 7 minutes or so. You're very welcome, everyone. Really glad we could be here today together. Oh, I think Stacy, you might be on mute if you were trying to say something.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, good morning, everyone. Well, afternoon now.
Yes.
For some reason, the universe was not trying to let me get on today. And I said, I need this. So I forgot today was the Zoom today. And I'm like, oh my goodness. But I ended up taking my grandson. And I said, I'm going to find some me time. So even though my internet started lagging and the baby was like doing whatever he wanted to do, I said, I'm going to take this minute for me. So I finally got on. So I was just saying, I was adamant on getting on. I said, I need this. I really needed it. And mind you, he's 9 months, so he's a little busybody,
Wow.
but I took the time.
Oh, I'm so glad you did, Stacy. It's a good reminder to us all, right? That there could be many distractions and many reasons we can say, oh, I'm going to put that off. I'm not going to do it. But to take the time, putting that oxygen mask on ourselves first. You got a cheers for that,
Yes,
Stacy,
yes.
in the chat.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Any comments, questions? Would anyone else, if anyone has any ideas for future sessions, I'm open. Please feel free to, I have my, next slide has my email on it. Oh, well, it's the final takeaway. Forgot about that. What do I need in this moment? Practice meeting that need with mindfulness tools and self-care. And then my email is kmello@unitedwaygw.org. So if you, meditation, okay. Well, I would love to, Judith. Maybe we can find a time. If anyone who wants to, how about this? If you can email me if you're interested in a meditation or a mindfulness or anything, email me, and then I can know who's interested in what, and then we can kind of schedule when the time works for everyone. And even if we did a mindful like lunch break or something, half hour, 20 minutes, even just taking that 10 or 15 minutes is huge, right?
Mhm.
Peace to you all. Peace right back at you, Rochelle. Thank you for joining.
Yes, excuse me, Kay.
Yes, hi.
Yeah, hello. Yes, first and foremost, I'd like to thank you for offering this opportunity for us to at least become aware of stresses in our life and have the necessary coping skills and how to manage mindfulness and self-care. I thank you so very much for this. I'm definitely interested in other opportunities to receive more on the subject matter, especially in today's day and time. So many of us experience, mental health is more key now than it is, I think, or has ever been in the past. And not just due to the work that we do, but also, world events and state of the economy and political things happening within our community.
Absolutely.
Um, Also globally regarding weather and everything.
Yes.
So I
Can't
really
stand.
thank you for this opportunity. And the reason why I just have to add is the reason why I brought up the meditation tapes. I used to listen to those early on in my career
Okay.
um, and everything. And you just have that voice that kind of brought me back to that
Oh, good.
moment.
Oh, I'm glad. I'm really
You
glad.
do.
Yes, so thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. It's all my pleasure. I love doing it. So I'm definitely up for some sort of, meditation group, mindfulness, whatever we want to, do, even if it's for, like I said, doesn't have to be long, 15, 20 minutes once a week, just to check in and keep it going. Hi, Judith. Great to see you.
Bye, everyone.
Have a good one. Okay, well, anyone else like to share as we wrap up? A couple minutes left. Well, thank you
I would. Can I say it
again.
again?
Yes, by all means.
I don't know if anyone is into it, but puzzles, I liked them when I was much younger, but now that I'm getting older, I don't know, but I think I got a little competitive with myself. But doing these puzzles, I sit out on the table. I was telling Jackie and a few of our colleagues were like, but it's just taking that time out. In the beginning, you're kind of getting a little frustrated, but when you walk away from it and you come back and you're looking at it and you're like, wow, but you're so just wrapped up into it that you're forgetting everything around you. And
Yes.
I got like a little playlist that I use, and I just
Yes,
my
that's
puzzle.
it.
Oh my goodness, puzzles are like it forever. I swear, I live by them.
That is it. You're experiencing the mindfulness and the present moment awareness and not being like worried about what happened before, what's going to happen next.
Mm-hmm.
You're here and
Yeah,
now. We're doing that puzzle. And that
yeah.
is a mindfulness tool. And it brings our
Mm-hmm.
bodies right into that nice, again, that parasympathetic peace state. That's what we're
Yes,
aiming for. Right. And
yes,
more of that. And again, it's a practice, right? So it's not like we're going to be
yeah.
peaceful 24/7. I mean, we're human also. We give
Mm-hmm.
ourselves some compassion for being human, but it's about being aware and say, oh, okay, I need a little time here to take this down, right? And
Yeah.
adding more peaceful moments. And honestly, I'm going to share this, right? Even delivering this presentation today to all of you is peaceful for me. I've taken down my own sympathetic nervous system into the parasympathetic. That's one of the reasons I enjoy doing it. Is also it's helpful for me. I spend time in peace, talking about peace, talking about mindfulness. It helps me as well. So and it helps. So it's a win-win.
I thank you for this because I literally forgot about me until I saw the email and Jackie reminded me, and I'm holding the baby, and I'm like, listen, kid, you're gonna have to lay down for a minute because I needed this. Yeah, and I have another grandbaby
Yes.
coming, and I'm like all over the place trying to juggle. Jackie knows I have each
Yeah.
grandchild to where I have to take one at a time, and I'm like,
Right.
yeah, no.
Yeah,
So I
that's a
need
lot.
this for me.
I'm so glad. Oh,
Thank you.
I'm so glad. You're so welcome. We're right at one. I see Logan's typing something, so I'll hang on to see what he has to say. But yeah, no, I really appreciate everyone being here today. And again, thank yourself for giving yourself this gift of self-care and time. And Logan says, I used to practice all mindfulness techniques when I was in college, but for whatever reason went away from it. As I got older, I should get back into it. Oh, I'm glad. Yay. Oh, isn't that wonderful? That's great. Well, I have everyone's contact. Do you have my, or I can email you all my, I can email you. I will be emailing you all those mindfulness cards. So I'll ask folks to respond about what they're interested in going forward, and we'll do another session.
Awesome.
Love it.
Thank you,
Thank
Kay.
you.
You're so welcome. Have a great day, everybody.
God bless you
You as
guys.
well. Great
Everyone have a
speaking as
great weekend.